My name is Patricia Devine, and I am a member of the Worship and Music Committee. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. Welcome to First Parish Plymouth Virtual Summer Services. The first part of our service is recorded, and this recording will be posted to our Facebook page and to YouTube. During the summer, our services are lay-led and begin at 9 a.m. On August 22nd, our minister, Reverend Art Lavoie, returns from his vacation. This morning, our service is led by Vaughn Keller. Our technical director is Paul Melville. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever you believe, wherever you are on your journey, come walk with us this hour. Let us walk together this hour. The call to worship this morning is entitled, All of Us Are Beautiful, by Thomas Rhodes. We come in a variety of colors, shapes, and sizes. Some of us grow in bunches. Some of us grow alone. Some of us are cupped inward, and some of us spread ourselves out wide. Some of us are old and dried and tougher than we appear. Some of us are still in bud. Some of us grow low to the ground, and some of us stretch toward the sun. Some of us feel like weeds sometimes. Some of us carry seeds sometimes. Some of us are prickly sometimes. Some of us smell, and all of us are beautiful. What a bouquet of people we are. We'll now go to our opening hymn, I've Got Peace Like a River. It is that time in our service where we light the chalice. Please speak along with me. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in freedom, to speak the truth in love, and to help one another. The reading this morning has been compiled by Vaughn Keller and is entitled, Truth, You Say. All truths are easy to understand once they are discovered. The point is to discover them. Galileo Galilei. Man is least himself when he talks in his own person. Give him a mask and he will tell you the truth. Oscar Wilde. Truth is like the sun. You can shut it out for a time, but it ain't going away. Elvis Presley. We live in a fantasy world, a world of illusion. The great task in life is to find reality. Iris Murdoch. It is only with the heart that one can see rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye. Anton de Saint-Exupéry. All truth passes through 3 stages. First, it is ridiculed. Second, it is violently opposed. Third, it is accepted as being self-evident. Arthur Schopenhauer. Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains, no matter how improbable, must be the truth. Arthur Conan Doyle. Rather than love, than money, than fame, give me truth. Henry David Thoreau.
There Good morning. Several years ago, I believe it was at an introductory meeting to First Parish, those of us who were assembled were asked, "What do you have faith in?" One of the participants responded by saying, "I don't have faith in anything." I remember being struck by the response. I don't have faith in anything? Recently, though, in an informal gathering, a different person said, "I don't have faith in anything. I don't believe in anything." Clearly, the question stirs up strong responses. It's a powerful one. What do you have faith in? I raise it because it helps us to think about a conversation we're going to be having at First Parish in the coming year. Art tells me that we are going to be talking about covenants. So think of this morning as a kind of warm-up for discussions we will be having. We're not going to talk about all the elements of our covenant, but we're going to talk about a few. We call our Unitarian Universalist faith a covenantal religion. We don't have a creed that says you have to believe in this or that. What we say is, look, here are our principles, and this is our covenant with one another. If these resonate with you, come join us. Covenants are important. In the legal world, they bind parties to specific actions or inactions. I find it interesting that the word can be used either as a verb or as a noun. In some of the writings about covenant from the Unitarian Universalist Association, they point out that covenant is Latin for come together. And they go on to define it as a solemn agreement or a promise from the heart regarding a course of action between parties. We know that the idea of a covenant is central to the Hebrew Bible. According to the Hebrew Bible, God promised to make Abraham the father of a great people, and said that Abraham and his descendants must obey God. In return, God would guide them and protect them and give them the land of Israel, the promised land. It's possible that Judaism is the first covenantal religion. Now, notice the way faith enters in. The Jews had to have faith that God could and would deliver if they did as he commanded. Now, here at First Parish, our covenant is not with God. It is instead with one another. However, our covenant is also stated in very direct language. One element, we say, love is the spirit of this church. We don't say it might be, or it would, be nice if it was. We say love is the spirit of this church. That's big. By saying this, aren't we putting a lot of faith in love? English is not a good language with which to discuss love. Classical Greek does a much better job. In classical Greek, there are 4 words. Eros, for romantic, erotic, passionate love. Philia is the love for friends and equals. Storge is the love of parents for children. And then finally, there is agape, the love of mankind. My hunch is we mean agape when we say love is the spirit of this church. Swiss theologian Karl Barth distinguishes agape from eros on the basis of its origin and unconditional character. Barth writes, in agape, humanity does not merely express its nature, but transcends it. Agape identifies with the interests of the neighbor in utter independence of the question of his attractiveness and with no expectation of reciprocity. In Barth's construct, we begin by observing and acknowledging the interests of our neighbor. what they need, what's important to them. And we don't care about how attracted we are to this neighbor. And we have no expectation of reciprocity, that our neighbor is going to do something for us. Wow, that's big. Even God wanted something back from the Jews. Do we have faith in this meaning of love? Is this what we are promising one another in our covenant, agape? Or is our love spirit that of philia? Do we reserve it for friends and people we consider to be our equal, the people who think the same way we do? Agape asks a lot of us. Do we have faith in this kind of love? Every Sunday, we promise one another that we are going to create a church where the Spirit is love. But what do we really mean by that? This love stuff gets really complicated. Consider what the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King wrote. Again, I quote, "One of the greatest problems of history is that the concepts of love and power are usually contrasted as polar opposites. Love is identified with a resignation of power, and power with a denial of love." You know, King's next words turned my world upside down when I first read them. He wrote, "What is needed is a realization that power without love is reckless and abusive, and that love without power is sentimental and anemic." King then brings these concepts together within a framework of justice. He writes, "Power at its best is love implementing the demands of justice. Justice at its best is love correcting everything that stands, is power correcting everything that stands against love." What do you believe? Do you believe that love without power is sentimental and anemic? Do you believe that power at its best is love implementing the demands of justice, and justice at its best is power correcting everything that stands against love? So on Sunday mornings, when we say love is the spirit of this church, what do we really mean? Do we include concerns for power and justice in our understanding of love? Or is our understanding of love sentimental, anemic? These are important questions, because we're promising one another that we are going to establish love as the core spirit of our congregation. Another element in our covenant, we also make promises about truth. We promise that we will seek the truth in freedom, and we promise that we are going to speak it in love. Now, try something, if you will. A covenant's pretty powerful stuff. Imagine yourself standing in front of our congregation on a Sunday morning and saying out loud to everyone, "I promise you that I will seek the truth. And I promise you that when I speak the truth I have found, I will do so with love." Of course, all of us listening to you would have to say, the reciprocity is, we're going to support your freedom to seek and to speak. And that's the promise we make to you. I've come to realize over the years that I do not have faith in love standing alone. If I was asked the question today, Vaughn, what do you have faith in? I would answer truth. I am closer to that guy who took off and lived at Walden Pond. Truth is central to my faith. It's my North Star. I do have faith in truth. A teacher who influenced me a great deal was Ed Lynch. He used to say to us, the truth is enough. He would go on and say, don't minimize, don't exaggerate, don't warp it. It's enough. In my thinking, love cannot exist if it's not based upon truth. For me, that is how love and truth come together. Justice King believed that love without power and justice was anemic and sentimental. I believe that love can be sentimental and anemic if it's not based upon truth. Let's switch gears for a minute, become less philosophical, and talk instead about soap operas. Now, especially over COVID, we were doing a lot of watching of series, and many of these had soap opera feel to them, if not exactly soap operas. What's core to the drama of soap operas? Secrets and lies. The idea and the way soap operas work is they subvert truth and make the characters go absolutely nutso. And of course, we as the audience, we know what's going on. So we get to say, as we're watching things happening, oh God, if they only knew. But they don't, because lies have been told or secrets are there. Sometimes recently, I think our country is living through a gigantic soap opera, given the secrets and lies that plague us. And as with the villains in soap operas, the purveyors of these secrets and lies have absolutely no shame. Actually, I think some of the villains in soap operas have more redeemable characteristics than some of our current cast of political characters. In the past, for several years, I practiced individual, couple, and family psychotherapy. I've seen the damage created by lies and secrets and the way they disrupt people's ability to experience a sense of well-being. Sometimes it's the falsehoods one tells oneself. Sometimes it's the falsehoods we tell others. And sometimes it's about the origins of those falsehoods. All of them, though, can corrupt our ability to function effectively in relationships and in the world. Family secrets can corrupt. They create barriers. Living authentically within a milieu of secrets and lies becomes very difficult. And for those who feel that they have to keep secrets and maintain lies, being on guard for whatever reason, it takes a great deal of their energy. Thinking, if they only knew, they would not love me, is a hard way to live. Or if they knew, it would hurt them, so I keep it as a secret. Living with and in truth takes a lot of courage. Seeking the truth, whether or not it's at a family level, a community level, the world, or in our own congregation, seeking it and speaking it takes courage. I believe this is true at all levels. However, if we feel embraced by love, safe in love, it's a lot easier to do. It's one of the reasons that creating a place where the Spirit is love, agape, is so critical. This church. Perhaps if we can create a spirit of love and live in that, it makes it so much easier for us to seek the truth and freedom and then to speak it in love. This covenant of ours is deep stuff. Now, when we talk about truth, we immediately raise the question, whose truth are we talking about? And we also have to think about how we go about seeking the truth. We all have very different means of seeking the truth. What are yours? How do you go about seeking the truth? Here are mine. I'm trained in the scientific method, and I trust this method as one process for pursuing truth. The reason that universities have tenure regulations is to protect my right to seek the truth and freedom. Now, the scientific method is a demanding, difficult, often absolute pain in the butt way of seeking truth. Now, I'm not saying it's the only way, just that it's the way I know best, and I do have faith in it. Give me good data and I'm a happy camper. I love testing out ideas, mine, others. I love using processes that can sort out biases and discover or confirm a reality. It excites me, and I feel at home there. Now, one of the things about the scientific method, the way we practice it, is it involves a peer review process. And that's not always comfortable, but I do trust it. Yeah, there's some ego bruising along the ways, but I can live with that if it's helping me get closer to a truth. But the scientific method is only one avenue of seeking the truth, one way of knowing. I also trust the arts. All art is a way of knowing, a way of discovering truth and seeking to express truth, whether it be the truth of a tree, its treeness, or of a character in a play. Now, audiences know when an artist is not being truthful to their characters or to their whatever it is they're working on, and they're merely entertaining, or in the visual arts, they're decorating rather than really working to know. In my experience, the artist always knows. A poem can be facile and adhere to poetic techniques and at the same time be absolutely meaningless. Or it can illuminate reality and take our breath away with our experience of yes. I also trust the truth that emerges from the depths of spiritual practices, especially meditation. Almost all of these practices seek an engagement with reality, seeing things as they are, not as we would like them to be. Another way I go about seeking truth is I engage with others, whether through reading, talking, sitting back and listening, watching a documentary. Paying attention and taking in new ways of seeing is the prerequisite. And sometimes I'm not always good at it, but I try. Now, you may have other ways of seeking the truth. One of the things that strikes me about almost all methods for seeking the truth, though, is that they require work and openness. I think the same is true of love, this work and openness. This is some covenant we have, folks. Imagine an advertisement on television or in the local paper that says, "Come to First Parish in Plymouth and roll up your sleeves because you're going to be asked to do a lot of work to fulfill your promise in the covenant." Now, seeking the truth suggests we have some questions we want answers to. You may not have specific questions. You may not be used to asking big questions, or your life at this point may be inundated with small ones. That's one of the reasons we say, as Patricia did this morning, wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. That's also our promise to one another. And moreover, we promise we'll help one another. That's the last phrase in our covenant. You might want to try something. When you say our covenant on Sunday morning, think about it as a series of promises you are making. What fits for you? What resonates for you? Also, consider, what do you have faith in? Or, like the people who I mentioned in the beginning, do you have faith in anything? Our covenant asks a lot of us. It should. Ours is a covenantal religion. Let it be. Our closing words come from Maureen Killoran. No matter how weak or how frightened we may feel, we each have gifts that can make a difference in the world. In this coming week, may you do at least one thing to support the broken, to welcome the stranger, to celebrate what is worthy, to do the work of justice and love. Be strong, be connected. Each day, act so you may be a little more whole.
Star of truth but dimly shines.